Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm here with West Greene head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how you doing this morning?
Doing good.
It's fall break. It feels weird coming in here on the morning now.
A little bit, but we had a little fun today.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had a little bit of fun at practice, so they had a good time today.
Is it kind of different doing the morning practices? Is it kind of hard to wake them boys up and wake yourself up?
It ain't hard for me to wake up. I get up pretty early anyway. But some of the boys come in. One of the guys come in. He's like, "Ugh." I said, "You just roll out of bed or something?" He's like, "I forgot we had early practice." He said, "I literally just rolled out of bed." He said, "I stayed up way too late." I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out." But then we went and lifted this morning. Did a good stretch session with them. Got some of the soreness out of us, and then we went to the gym, played a little dodgeball.
Awesome.
So kids had a good time with that. The kid that won the first game, we put everybody in the middle circle, and I put a ball in each corner and on the half line. Everybody had to be in the inner circle, and it was a free-for-all.
I've never seen it played that way. That's awesome.
And I said, so I blew the whistle, and it was a free-for-all. Well, one kid, he's a lineman. He goes and stands in the corner and hides the whole game. It's down to like the final three. He gets a ball, hits a kid. He goes out. It's one of the skill guys. And then was it him and Dawson together? Was that the last two? So it was this kid and Dawson, the quarterback. Dawson throws, the kid misses him. Kid runs after him, hits Dawson on the leg. If you'd gave me 1,000,000 to 1 odds of that kid winning a dodgeball game, I'm taking the million. No. But he ended up winning, and that kids got excited for him. And, we played several rounds, and kids had a good time this morning. So, a little bye week, kind of come together as a team, have a little team bonding, have a little fun, throw some dodgeballs at each other. It's a good time.
Dodgeball was always my favorite.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It was always so fun. You rarely got to play it either, but whenever you did, it was always fun. Mainly because if you do a free-for-all like that, you're never truly out. Because if a ball rolls to you and you're on the ground, you can always get back up.
Well, I made them, when they got out, they had to go to the sideline, go out to the outside of the thing, and I made them either do push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, or jump rope like they had a jump rope and made them do some jump rope. So that kind of gives some of the big boys incentive to stay in and not just hit me so I don't have to run around. So, they were like, I'd rather play dodgeball than have to do sit-ups. So, the kids had fun with it, and, we'll figure out another little game to play with them tomorrow, have another good fun time with them.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about the Hampton game a little bit first.
Okay. If you want to.
Went up to Carter County this past Friday night, played Hampton. Stiff competition. It was going to be that way going in.
Yeah.
One of the better teams, with actually the top team within your region right now. Yeah. Went up there. Took a 52-6 loss. A lot of learning in that game, too. What did you learn coming out of that game?
I learned that Hampton's a pretty darn good football team. They come in. They did what we knew they were going to do. We knew they were going to be physical up front. We knew they were going to try to run the ball. And they run right at you and say, stop it if you can. And we never stopped it. And that's – defensively, it's frustrating when you look at each other and you're like, I got nothing. Yeah. You're just outmanned. You could tell all their kids had been in the weight room, and comparatively, we didn't look like we had been, and so I think it was good for those younger guys to see, hey, this is what a team that's sold out in the weight room, what it looks like. And so I think that was pretty good for us to see that and learn that, hey, we got to give it a little more in the weight room. I learned that we're very thin across the board. I think at one point I had a freshman playing tackle for us. And it was kind of funny, all the other older guys, because nasty raining, poured down rain.
I don't think it ever stopped for 1 second.
No, it was nasty, and all the older guys that had played most of the game were covered in mud. Their white jerseys are brown at this point. And then you've got the one lineman who is in pristine white jersey.
Just came out of Dry.
Yeah, like pristine. And you know, he did. It was. I won't say garbage time. It was, you know, midway through the fourth quarter, he went in when we're rolling guys in and trying to get some guys playing time. Threw him out there with varsity, and you know, he did a good job for us. And so, you know, it's when you got young guys that are doing what you've coached them to do through your individual time at practices, and you see him doing the technique things the right way, you're like, okay, maybe I am doing something right, and it's not going in one ear and out the other, and we're making progress. And so, you know, that was kind of what we learned. Like, hey, we learned we're not as physical as we need to be. We've not been in the weight room like we need to be, and that Hampton's a darn good football team.
It was funny watching him out there because everybody's uniform is brown.
Oh, yeah.
And then his is as white as the logo right there.
I mean, it was pristine.
It was white as your hat, and everybody else's is as brown as that door right there.
It was funny. I think I went over to you and I said, look who I got stuck out there. I said, he's sticking out like a sore thumb. You tell he ain't played none. He's clean. And so, you know, he did a pretty good job. And, you know, they manned up on us on the outside and brought the house just about every play, and we didn't know how to handle it. And, you know, it's something we got to talk about and work on, and hats off to Hampton. They're a pretty good football team.
Let's talk about that scoring play you had later on in the second half. You got the ball back, fortunately, due to a fumble.
Yes.
One of the turnovers actually went your way that time, where you had a fumble.
Shockingly.
I think they had a fumble within your own red zone, and you were able to push it down to the 1 yard line. You got stopped a couple times.
Yeah.
I think you got backed up to the 4 yard line, and then backed up to the 6, and then you were able to get a 6 yard pass from Dawson Daniels to Austin Franklin. A very unconventional pass, too. Talk about that scoring play a little bit.
You know, that was one play where we just Dawson just made something happen. You know, ball was probably slick. He couldn't really throw it, so he grabs it with both hands.
It was a shove pass, like
just
basketball.
like a chest pass in basketball. And Franklin really didn't understand. He just kind of was like he didn't even realize he caught it at first. And, you know, where we were standing, I couldn't really tell if Franklin caught it or not. I'm kind of like, did we score? Did we not? Like, what's going on? Because the side judge about didn't want to give it to him. He was, like, delayed in putting his hands up for the touchdown. I was like, did we score or not? And then finally he puts his arms up. So I'm like, hey, we got, you know, one positive from the night. We actually found the end zone. And so for Dawson, you know, to be able to extend the play with his feet and kind of suck that defense up, thinking – because earlier in the game – we had heard him where Dawson kind of booted out on fourth down and pick up.
That was a nice little play.
Yeah, and so they had seen on film where we're heavy on that one side, and so they crowded that side and said, "You're not going to run it here." And I had seen that earlier, and I was like, "Hey, let's have Dawson boot out of this." And I said, "It'll be there." And so Dawson boots, gets him about 12 yards, and so I was like, "Well, maybe." So they kind of respected the boot. He come up, the defense sucked up. Franklin kind of peeled out into the flats, and he just kind of here. It was one of the goofier passes you'll see, but
it put 6 on the board. Nonetheless,
that's all I care about. You know, we didn't get skunked. We've found a little bit of success, be able to capitalize off a turnover. You know, that's things that we have to do as a football team. You know, if a team goes and has a turnover, let's go capitalize on their mistake and make them pay for it. And so that's one of the first times we've really done that this year is force a turnover and then go score. So very pleased with that, how that drive went for us. Although when we're on the one, I'd really like to punch it in instead of having to wait till third down, fourth down, whatever it was, to have a here kind of pass, you know. But Hampton was they were stronger than us up front. You know, you've got 3-4 sophomores out there that's been somewhat in the weight room, but not like they need to be. And Hampton's got seniors that have been in the weight room for 4 years, and you look at the difference, you're like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, they were just bigger and stronger than us up front and more physical, and that leads to a long night.
One of the things I'd mentioned to you after the game were the wet conditions. Had a lot of turnovers, no interceptions, but a lot of fumbles. And I'm fairly certain a lot of that had to do with the wet conditions, because I'm sure Hampton would even tell you themselves that the conditions bothered them, because they had a few fumbles. I think they had one that they lost and one that they were able to pick back up, but even they couldn't hold on to the football much. And I think those conditions bothered everybody because, as we mentioned, I don't think it stopped raining for a single second.
I don't think it did. The one fumble on the end zone where they scored, right there on like the 1 or 2 yard line, no, that was a fumble. They caught him down. That was 100% a fumble. Now, do I think we could have went 99 yards and scored on them? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We didn't have a lot of offensive success, but it keeps them out of the end zone. And so it was one, whistle never blew. We picked up the ball. We have the ball in our hands. Then they blow the whistle and say he was down. Yeah. And then the officials all met in the middle and was like, I don't know. We're standing there with the ball in our hands, and the whistle hadn't blown, and they say Hampton ball.
Have you been able to watch that play yet? Watch that play back and get a good view of it?
I can't really tell. I mean, it was 22 guys, and that little, you can't tell.
It's one of those like you're boxing in a phone booth.
Yeah.
That's how it was all game.
Well, somewhat. They spread us out a couple times and threw on us, and I'm like, okay. But it's just one of those things. It's like, would it have made a difference in the ball game? Probably not. Was it the wrong call? I think it was. So, I think if we worried, TSSAA worried a little more about getting right calls and late hits called and things like that instead of worrying about knees being covered, I think it'd go a long way. I think a lot of coaches around here would probably appreciate that.
I think a lot of coaches and media feel that way.
Yeah, you miss holding calls, but we're worried about knees. That drives me up a wall.
I would have to agree.
There's a couple times, our kids' jerseys way out here. No call. Lord forbid our knees be uncovered, though. It drives me up a wall. But I won't gripe about officiating anymore. I'll get off that soapbox because that's something I could rant and ramble on about for a while. But I'll keep my mouth shut on that one.
Moving forward, though, you've got the bye week ahead of you now. A great time to have the bye week because, as you mentioned, you're very thin. A lot of injuries in that game, a lot of injuries the week before against Cumberland Gap. You got the bye week now, a perfect week for you to kind of regenerate your health and get healthy before you move back into a non-regional matchup. We'll go ahead and take a break first, and we'll be right back to talk some more about West Greene football here on Grassroots Media.
Pizza, pancakes, or donuts, the Davy Crockett Travel Center in Baileyton has the cure for all your cravings. While you're there, shop our general store for souvenirs, gifts, and cellular accessories. In a hurry, grab a cold drink and a hot dog to go. Check us out on Facebook and come to Baileyton.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As usual, I'm here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. So you got the bye week this week.
Yeah.
Bye week falls on fall break, too.
That's nice.
So practices are a little different this week, as we mentioned. You're going in the morning. You're only going today and tomorrow because I hear you're about to have fun the rest of the week. You're about to go on vacation.
Yeah, my wife and my kids have been out of town since Saturday morning. They left 4 o'clock in the morning. I basically pulled in, fell asleep, slept a couple hours, Then my wife got up and left. They left real early Saturday morning. So I've kind of been by myself enjoying the peace and quiet for a couple days. It's getting kind of weird not having 2 toddlers running around.
Yeah.
But I'm heading out tomorrow after practice, go spend some time with the family. A little rest and rejuvenation before we finish out the season strong.
Going to the beach?
Going to the beach, heading to old Dirty Myrtle, baby.
I like Myrtle.
We stayed at a little campground. I say little, it's a huge campground. But it's a private beach, so you're not on top of everybody. You still have the ability to go eat wherever, but it's a little more private. They have like cornhole there. They've got a putt course. They've got an ice cream shop. I tear up the ice cream shop.
Oh, you have to.
I tear it up. Like, we're there probably. My wife may not eat every time with me, but I'm there at least once or twice a day. Like, they know me by the end of the week. By the time I'm there, they're like, "What you gonna try today?" I'm like, "What you got?" So, what you go to ice cream flavor when you go somewhere?
I'm a big birthday cake guy.
Birthday cake.
I like birthday cake flavored ice cream. Besides that, I like the mint chocolate chip.
Oh,
I like mint chocolate chip. What's your go-to?
Anything with a caramel in it.
Okay.
Good caramel. The shop we go to, they had a banana pudding one.
I don't think I've ever tried banana pudding ice cream.
Banana pudding's not bad. I like a strawberry cheesecake. That's a good one. You can tell by looking at me. I like to sample and I like to try things. I like to eat.
Do they have samples there too?
Oh yeah, you can get whatever. They'll give you a little spoon sample, whatever you want to try. They had a peach one last year. Peach ice cream.
Peach ice cream. It sounds
weird, but it's actually really, really good.
You ever tried black cherry ice cream?
So I'm not a big cherry fan.
Sounds weird, but I like it. I wasn't sure about it at first. I thought, black cherry? I don't know about that in ice cream, but it's good.
I could see that. I could see that, but I like to go try something funky because usually my kids will try something like, "Ooh, I don't like that." And I'm like, "That's fine by me." You and your mama can share chocolate. I'll eat the whatever funky they've got, and my kids always enjoy. It's always good to go spend time with family, rest, relax a little, enjoy some family time. During the football season, I spend more time with other people's kids than my own.
Yeah.
You think, you in practice between 5:30, 6 o'clock most days. That's 3 hours a day you're spending with somebody else's kids. And then I go home, 30 minutes after practice, whatever, by the time everybody gets picked up, I may get 2 hours with my own kids before bedtime. And so being able to spend a little more time with my own kids this week, I'm going to enjoy that.
Out of the 3 basic flavors of ice cream, which one's your go-to? I'm a strawberry guy.
You a strawberry guy? Depends on the mood and what I'm eating with.
You can't go wrong with any of them, to be honest. But
if it depends. If I'm eating ice cream on top of something, like if I'm eating like some type of cobbler,
okay,
I'm going vanilla.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to go vanilla with that. If I'm eating birthday cake, I'm going the opposite of whatever the cake is.
All right, so if it's chocolate cake, chocolate, you're going vanilla.
Okay, yeah.
I get what you're putting down.
And if I'm just going to get a tub, I'm going chocolate.
You're going to the chocolate first?
I'm going chocolate first.
All right.
It's classic. It's hard to beat.
Vanilla is one of those I ate so much as a kid that I don't like it as an adult anymore. But I mean, you still got to go back to it every now and then. You can't go wrong with chocolate. Anything ice cream.
No, but it doesn't pair well with like your cobblers.
No, that's true.
You got to have the just vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on some blackberry cobbler. I love me some blackberry cobbler now.
What's one ice cream that you turn down? You just absolutely do not like?
Mint chocolate chip.
All right.
It's like eating
some
toothpaste.
People feel that way, and
it's like eating toothpaste. Like if I want to eat toothpaste, I'm gonna go brush my teeth. I'm not eating ice cream. I don't even like the little Andes mints you get at like
Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Love those.
No, of course you do, you weirdo.
See, Hans over here. Whew, he's all over it too.
I usually get about 20 of them when I go.
Throw them in the car. Sometimes they melt. That's all right. Just peel them off the wrapper.
Now, the one time I did have something that was like a mint chocolate that I actually liked, there was a lady when I worked at Greenville Middle. She brought in brownies, and she made like mint fudge or something and went over the top of it, and then put like chocolate fudge over that. And it was like brownie, a layer of mint, then a layer of chocolate. And I was like, this ain't bad. Now, mint chocolate chip ice cream, I ain't messing with that. What's your go-to? Like, no, staying away from it.
I don't know. I don't know if there's one singular one that I like turn down every time.
I'll tell you one that's gross. My daughter tried it last time we went to the beach. It was cotton candy.
Cotton candy ice cream. That might be what I choose. I'm not a big fan of cotton candy anything.
It was
I'll choose that.
She's 3, so she's all girl, and it was that pretty pink and that pastel blue all mixed together. She was like, I want that one. I'm like, baby, you ain't gonna like that. I want that one. Okay. Right. So she took 2 bites of it. I was like, this ain't good. And I'm like, I told you it wasn't. I took 2 bites of it. I was like,
this ain't good.
I was like, it's rough. So that was when I was like, no, I'll stay away from that one.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm glad we got some ice cream talk in there.
Hey,
you can't ever go wrong with ice cream, man.
No. Anytime you want to talk about food, I'll talk about food with you.
I mean, we're moving into the colder days of the year, but you still got to have some ice cream every now and then.
Oh, yeah. The first cold day yesterday, I was like,
I ate ice cream yesterday, too.
I didn't eat ice cream, but I went to the store. I made a big pot of chicken and dumplings.
Oh.
I ate 4 bowls of that before I knew what happened. I was like, this is good. I'll talk about food all day long.
We might get a food segment on here sometime, too.
The other day on Monday when we made, last Monday when we had pancakes, I was the one that fired up the griddle and cooked them. I was like, I didn't get this big by not knowing how to cook. Bless her heart, my wife can't cook, so I'm the cook of the family. She tried to boil water one day, and she couldn't even do that right. I was like, honey, you got to put it on higher than 5. Like, that water ain't going to boil on 5. You going to have to turn it up to 10. She's like, I didn't want it to get too hot. I'm like, bless you.
There's still time to learn.
I've tried to teach her.
There's still time to learn, trust me.
I don't know if you can teach an old dog new trick.
That's why I have to have a rebuttal episode now.
Oh, she'll tell you she can't cook. She'll tell you.
At least she's honest about it.
She's like, I don't cook. He's the cook. Which I worked in a restaurant. I worked at Longhorn in Morristown when I was in college, and I started out in the kitchen there and learned a lot, and then waited tables to finish out college. And so, being in a restaurant, you learn some tips and tricks of how to do things. And I was the fat kid in middle school that watched the Food Network all the time. I was like, yeah, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And I was like, oh, no, it's not. So, you watch a lot of Food Network when you're a pudgy middle schooler. You learn some things. So
maybe so. I never got into those Food Network shows or anything. QVC, anything like that?
No, I didn't do QVC. I was more like the competition style shows.
I could get into that just because it's competition based. Yeah. But just sitting there and just showing you how to cook something.
No.
Fall asleep.
No. It was more the competition stuff that I liked to watch. It was the Iron Chef America and Chopped was good ones.
Okay. That's what you're talking about. But you got a bye week now. Got some time to rest up.
Yes.
Got Sullivan East afterwards. Won't talk about them too much. We'll save that for next week. Got a non-regional opponent coming in before you finish out the season with the last 2 region games on your schedule. But that's all I've got this week. Go home, eat some ice cream,
Plan on.
Have fun at the beach.
Hey, I'm going to heat up the last bit of them dumplings I got left.
Rest up going into the bye week.
Yep.
That's all we've got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.